place, Frederick Agidius in lane number 5. And on the opposite page of this, in 6th place in the point standings in lane 12, Bjorkman Carl Goodmanson. But when it comes to gymnastics, you got to keep an eye on one man. 20.8, the average career finish for Cody Anderson in gymnastic events, 4.2. 4.8.
Cody Anderson at 5'7", 170 pounds with the gymnastics base. He won the Muscle Up Biathlon in 2014 with 45 reps in that event. We expect to see this unbroken or close to it.
If you're looking for a sleeper pick, you might want to look at the guy that was the Pacific Regional Miracle Man, Zeke Grove.
Zeke Grove is an absolute unit, 5'7", 182 pounds, built like a bulldog. I expect him to go unbroken.
He got to this point in the competition without even being in the final heat in the last event of the Pacific Regional. He went from 11th to 5th to pull out an absolute stunner, and he might have his chance at 100 points in this one. Field of 19 underway, and we're asking that question, and we'll see if anybody can answer it. Will anybody go 30 unbroken?
Brandon, I spoke to Zeke just a few days ago, and he said that he jumped up on these rings and he practiced with those longer straps, and he was able to knock out 20, no problem. He feels pretty confident that he can go unbroken here because in practice, he does upwards of 40 unbroken reps.
Grove and Logan Collins, the two athletes up in front. As you'll notice, the leader's name highlighted in blue with that number indicating how many reps they have completed. Everybody else in red with the minus number being how many reps they are behind as our two favorites in this one, Grove on the left, Anderson on the right.
You see Cody Anderson doing a really good job of getting up into that dip. Logan Collins doing the same thing, sweeping the feet through, catching in that dip, and bringing the knees toward the chest to help kip out of the dip at the bottom.
And we haven't mentioned thus far, but one of the leaders, Logan Collins, making his 3rd consecutive appearance at the Games. We're already 20 reps in at the 1 minute mark. We've got 3 men that are trying to go unbroken. Grove on the left, Collins on the right, both through 24 reps, now 25 for Grove. Collins is going to break. Grove is trying to pull this off unbroken with 4 to go, and he's going to come down. Window might be open for Cody Anderson, who's still going. He's through number 26. Here's number 27. He went unbroken in the Muscle Up Biathlon 4 years ago for his only career event win. He's 2 away, and he can't pull it off this time.
That could be a costly mistake, Brandon, because you hit that failure point and it's really hard to recover.
And now the race is to the line, and it's going to be Logan Collins sneaking out the win at 1:46. Zeke Grove will come in 2nd. He called his shot and he nearly pulled it off at 1:52. Cody Anderson is 5 reps ahead of Willie George for 3rd, so he can coast to the line in this heat. Remember, still 1 heat remaining as Anderson in just past the 2-minute mark. As I realize how absurd that sounds when 16 years ago this was made with a 30-minute limit on the main site workout.
Looking back on the main site, it came with a description on how you can spot each other doing muscle-ups.
Bjorkman Carl Goodmanson, 6th place in event number 1. 4th place here provisionally through 1 of 2 heats in event number 2, so a great start for BKG. Dean Linder Layton, our 5th finisher. Willie George, another Games rookie, in 6th. 7th place, saw S. Panchik. That's not Scott Panchik. That's going to be Saxon Panchik, the younger brother of Scott. Alexander Perron, top 10 in event number 1. He'll be in 8th. Sean Sweeney, Royce Dunn rounding out our top 10. As, apologize not having the clock up there, a little bit of technical difficulties. We're 3 minutes in on this 5-minute time cap event for 30 muscle-ups for time. Next finisher appears like it should be Pablo Chalfon. And actually, it's going to be Marquand Jones that'll pull ahead of him, finishing 15th here in the heat. Con Porter trying to hold off Jared Enderton, and Enderton's going to edge him out by about a couple seconds. So 2 athletes left, 2 reps remain for Pablo Chalfon, and Brandon Luckett is rounding out the rear of the field with 5 muscle-ups remaining, and then the run to the finish line. Still 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining. for both Chalfon and Luckett, they are in significant danger. Both games rookies here this year, both not having the start that they would want to see, as Chalfon was last out of the 39 in event number 1. Luckett was 34th in event number 1. As the graduate student in applied physics and medicine, which as he describes it is how radiation interacts with the body. So one of the smartest men in the field is bringing up the rear of the field here in heat number 1 on 30 muscle-ups for time. Event number 2, 30 seconds until the 5-minute time cap, but that will not be a factor for Luckett as he crosses the line at 4 minutes and 37 seconds to round out the field. But we were asking the question, will anybody go unbroken? It was nearly unbroken, but it was definitely under the 2-minute benchmark. 1:46 for Logan Collins.
Zeke Grove came out so strong. He caught most of his reps. The first 20 reps he caught almost completely locked out. But we can see in that slow-mo he's having to catch it right at the bottom of the dip, quick little jerk the knees up, and then finish with that press. Cody Anderson, it looked like he was going to go unbroken through this event. He went 28 and then failed on a rep where that right arm starts to slide out. He ends up having to chalk up. But it's Logan Collins hopping back up and putting in that last little bit of effort to come across with for the win at 1 minute and 46 seconds in event 2.
The only man to beat the time cap in last year's final event, looking for his second win in his last 3 games events. He's currently in that position, leading the way with 1 heat remaining. Logan Collins in at 1:46 flat. Zeke Grove, the only other man under the 2-minute mark at 1:52. Cody Anderson rounding out your provisional top 3 at 2 minutes and 1 second. But we still have 19 athletes remaining. They're coming up next in heat number 2.
The toughest day in CrossFit Games history rolls on. It's event number 2, and it's pretty simple. 30 muscle-ups for time. Thanks for being with us today, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland, alongside Bill Grundler, and Mike Arsenault is on the competition floor. We were on bikes for the first event, and now we have a much different but still very relevant test of fitness here in event 2.
It's classic CrossFit. This was a gold standard event. 30 ring muscle-ups. It's pure gymnastics. What do you have strength-wise? What do you have skill-wise? And for this one, can you hold on to those rings for a long period of time?
And those rings are a challenge in themselves, and Mike Arsenault has more on that.
Sean, a number of athletes have mentioned that they're having trouble locking out at the top of the muscle-up because of the length of the strap on the rings. The rings are 8 feet above the ground. There's 10 feet from the rings to where the straps are affixed. In fact, the women's event 2 winner, Christy Aramo, told me she had to break up her set strategy because of the difficulty on locking out on these muscle-ups.
In lane number 2, Greg Kenny. Thank you, Mike. 20 athletes are in this second heat, and everyone is trying to chase Logan Collins' time of 1 minute 46 seconds. And right in the middle of the field, Brent Fikowski, the man who finished second to Matt Fraser, the two-time defending champion. They are in lanes 9 and lanes 10. Patrick VELLNER needs to dig himself out of an early hole again. He will be in lane 11. And then James Newberry, who took second place in event number 1, he will be in lane number 12. There are some men, though, in this field who may look to go unbroken.
Come on, gymnastics equals Alex Smith. We know he's strong at this. We know that he could go unbroken if he wanted to. Now is he going to? He had a rough time on the bike event, so he needs a good finish here to kind of get himself back up on that leaderboard. But again, when you talk about rings, you have to look at Noah Olson. Also had a rough first event with his bike pedal breaking off. I've seen him do 30 unbroken in 1:47 about 2 years ago or so on social media. I want to see if he's going to go unbroken here. But then your champ, what can't this guy do, in your own words, Sean? He crushed the bike, did great there. And again, we know that he works well in the gymnastic movements. What's his strategy going to be here? I want to see.
Second and final heat of event number 2 as we are just about halfway through the opening day of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. 4 events on this Wednesday as Noah Olson opens up the early lead. Craig Kenny, he's up there as well. The leader's name will be highlighted in a blue box at the top of your screen. The number of reps that man has completed will be in the white box. All the men with their names in the red box, the number will either indicate if they are tied with the leader or how many reps they are trailing.
Now, if you want to talk about gymnastic prowess, if you look at Alex Smith on the left-hand side in the blue shorts, very controlled, very tight, not a lot of wasted energy. Noah Olson just his kind of raw ability. Watch, his legs are all over the place. Big, heavy swing. Drops himself down. Now, he's going to feel that in his hands after a while, so he's got to be careful to decide where he's going to break up. I've seen him before go 18 and 12. We're going to see if he's going to do the same thing here.
Josh Bridges in the light blue shorts on the right of your screen, right next to Noah Olson, is right now in the lead with 18, now 19 repetitions down. Adrian Moonwiller, who is wearing that white leader's jersey after he captured his first event win of his career in the Criterium, is on the lead pace, but now falling off as he is taking a break. And Lucas Hochberg and Matt Fraser fighting for first place. Fraser back up on the rings after a break, and it's Lucas Hochberg and Cole Sager, Patrick VELLNER in the lead. VELLNER on the left of your screen taking a break as Matt Fraser is back to work. Cole Sager, though, is through 26 reps and counting. The time to beat 146 flat belongs to Logan Collins. Did that in the first heat. Scott Panchik up and over, nearest to the camera in the white top. Matt Fraser won't win the event, and Matt Fraser fails a rep. That might open the door for Cole Sager, but Fraser is trying to minimize his rest. He has 1 rep to go. And Matt Fraser will take the heat. Cole Sager is in.
Oh, man. Even with failed reps, the guy can't be beat.
Here comes Alex Smith. So Matt Fraser right now will take 3rd place in the event. He was 4th in event number 1. Patrick VELLNER takes 9th. Those will be valuable points for VELLNER. VELLNER needs points to get himself out of that hole that he dug early on through no fault of his own, but because of a mechanical with his bike. Now Brent Fikowski is in. Fikowski, 9th in the heat, 13th in the event. Ben Smith has finished. Smith, 11th in the heat, now 18th in the event as we are running into those times from heat number 1. 5-minute time cap. Nick Urankar in the blue top, he is in. Alex Anderson, John Colte, and Scott Panchik are all across the finish line. James Newberry, Mitchell Stevenson, now Craig Kenny with 1 to go. There comes Craig Kenny. Tim Paulson, one of the bigger athletes. He's in the light blue headband, still on the floor, as is Ethan Helbig. He's in the blue top and pink shorts, who just left the screen. So your bigger athletes finishing later in this event. Paulson, he's 215 pounds. Ethan Helbig about 215 as well. Helbig with 4 to go. Minute 15 in which to complete them. Here comes Noah Olson to give him some encouragement. Ethan Helbig making his first ever appearance here at the CrossFit Games after he took 5th place in the Atlantic Regional.
Oh, look at that win. That's another problem with those straps. Now he has to not only just get it, but he got to time those rings.
Ethan Helbig has good hand-eye coordination. He was a hockey goalie for 13 years. And now Helbig is in. And everybody in heat number 2 will get in inside the 20-minute time cap, but nobody in the second heat does it faster than that man, the 2-time fittest man on earth, Matt FRASER. Another top 4 finish on day number 1, 4th in the opening event, now 3rd in event number 2. He's had the overall lead for good the last 2 years after 3 events. He's going to be really close to that after 2 events, but Noah Olsen was looking good early on.
He was, and you saw him start to really get a big swing, and we said that that's going to put a lot of pressure on his hands, which again, he knew to come down, knew when to come down, and did come down. But after that, we are also looking at Alex Smith. I thought for sure maybe he would do that with that very tight gymnastic control that he had of the rings. But again, smart, chose to come down. Now with Matt FRASER, he went 21 unbroken, took a little bit of a rest, we saw him kind of hang out for a second, hopped up there tried to get to 30, and on the 30th one, that's when he failed. So he could have cut off another 15 seconds if he would have made that last one. Had to time those rings to catch him. Last finish, and again, a great finish. The fact that he has had these 2 good places this early in the competition, everyone's shooting for second.
Logan Collins will grab the event win. Zeke Grove hangs on for second. It's Matt FRASER in 3rd place. And FRASER is going to be unofficially tied in points for the lead, but Adrian Moonwiller will hang on unofficially because of a tiebreak, and the 2-time fittest man on earth is standing by with Mike Arsenault.
Matt, this is one way to start your title defense. 2 top 5 finishes through the first 2 events. What's the expectation on these 2 coming into this week?
The cycle, I had no idea where to finish up, so that was just going to be based off effort. Same with this one. There's a handful of small guys that are known for doing 30 unbroken. And then windy with long straps, you just don't know what's going to happen. So I try to put the pedal down and hang on.
Okay, you were cruising to the event win, but you got a no rep, or you failed a rep right at the end there. What was the reason for that miss?
Definitely trying to push the pace more than I'm comfortable with. I figured worst case scenario, I fall off the rings. I've had more embarrassing things happen, so try to just hang on, and I found my limit.
So you said you had no idea what to expect in the first 2 events. What are your expectations going to event 3, the CrossFit Total, and then that marathon row coming up later this evening?
We're going against a lot of big boys, so I think there'll be some big totals going up, and then I don't know if anyone knows what to expect on the row.
Thanks, man. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Matt FRASER, 3rd place in event number 2, and Matt FRASER is tied in points with Adrian Moonwiller, who has the tiebreak because of his event win in the criterium. Matt FRASER, in the 2 years that he has been crowned fittest man on earth, has had the overall lead for good after 3 events. 2 tests are down. 2 more remain here on the opening day of the 2018 Reebok CrossFit Games. The CrossFit Total is up next.